Hironobu Sakaguchi and his studio Mistwalker a number of years ago collaborated with Apple on a brand new RPG that featured diorama style graphics, a very unique, interesting art style, and cool characters, but it was exclusive to the Apple Arcade Apple devices. Now, a number of years later, with Square Enix coming in to fill the void as a publisher, Mistwalker is releasing Fantasian Neo Dimension on PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and PC. And today, we've got the reviews of the long-anticipated RPG from one of the industry's brightest and best. But before we get into the scores for the Nintendo Switch version of the game, what's good everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get all the latest Nintendo Switch RPG news and more. So let's go ahead and jump right into it here. We've got 11 full reviews on the Nintendo Switch for Fantasian Neo Dimension with an overall score of 81, so definitely a very good score. Now, if you're interested in the PlayStation 5 or PC version, there are about 18 or so reviews with Xbox and everything else, so those will also be available on the Metacritic website. It's got an 84 average on PlayStation 5 and 85 average on PC with 9 and 8 reviews respectively. Now let's detail further about the 11 reviews. That's the leader so far when it comes to Fantasian Neo Dimension. The most reviews are on the Nintendo Switch, and it's got a generally favorable review overall aggregate score of 81, which is very good. Now, the positive scores so far are totaling in at 8, so about 73% so far of the total scores, and the mixed reviews or so are 3, about 27%. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to break down the top scores, the middle scores, and lower scores, and since there's only 11 reviews so far, I think we can get through the bulk and what makes this game actually good and where it faults at times. So let's go ahead and jump right into the only 10 out of 10 score, and they said it's hard to shake the feeling that Fantasian was a project designed to give several legends of the JRPG genre closure by revising their great classic and both modernizing and paying homage to it in equal measures. They can look back at their careers with the satisfaction of having completed a full journey of their own. For people that clearly love storytelling so much, it's hard to imagine a better way to finish up. All right, almost like a magnum opus for some of the greats in the industry. Nobuo Uematsu, Hironobu Sakaguchi, Mistwalker, and his team that have worked on so many of the incredible Final Fantasy games. Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, I mean the list goes on and on. Now next up is from Noisy Pixel, one of my favorite sites, and they gave it a 9 out of 10, saying Fantasian Neo Dimension breathes new life into the original Apple Arcade release with an engrossing narrative, intuitive turn-based combat, and a stellar English dub, while its innovation dimension mechanic and character-driven storytelling shine. Minor performance hiccups on the Switch and lackluster side quests hold it back. This is a must-play for JRPG fans seeking a modern classic. So very unfortunate they weren't able to get some of those frame rate hiccups on the Nintendo Switch version. So maybe the PlayStation version, if you're looking for probably the best frame rate, smoothest and all that, will be the option to go for. But of course, the portability factor is big for a turn-based RPG like this. Next up is Siliconera, 9 out of 10, and they said Fantasian Neo Dimension is the best way to play this Mistwalker JRPG. The sharper visuals and resolution make this truly pop in a beautiful way on the Nintendo Switch, where I played it. The story, characters, and fluid turn-based gameplay are high quality enough to feel like a classic spin-off of the Final Fantasy series. If you like JRPGs, don't miss out on one of my favorite releases in 2024 during a year jam-packed full of thrilling releases. Very good there. Next up is from Inverse. They gave it a 9 out of 10, saying with Fantasian, it's clear that Sakaguchi wanted to take a hard look at the key games that have defined his work, namely Final Fantasy VI, oh, one of my favorites, and find a meaningful way to advance its craft, to create something that can appeal to both the old guard and brand new fans. In my mind, he and Mistwalker have wildly succeeded in that endeavor, creating one of the defining RPGs of modern gaming. It's an enthralling experience that reminds me why I love video games so much and simultaneously makes me excited for where they can go in the future. Next up is from Nintendo Duo, gave it an 8.5 out of 10, saying Mistwalker has rescued Fantasian to prove that turn-based RPGs can still surprise with dynamic and strategic combat mechanics accompanied by a superb artwork and a story that, while not surprising, takes very little time to captivate you. A must-have of the genre on Switch. Eurogamer, 8 out of 10, says the cult classic mobile RPG finally gets its due for lovers of mechanics over story who can rise to the demands of its extreme challenge. I like the fact that there's a challenge in the game. Definitely good to hear about that. Atomic's 8 out of 10 says, in an age where every JRPG offers us complex experiences with hundreds of hours of content and multiple systems at our disposal, Fantasian Neo Dimension is a little Bailey's chocolate. The first bite is something everyone can appreciate. The sweetness immediately grabs the player, but once you get to the end of the bite, you're likely to feel something too strong for you, but at the same time, it's addictive and it's hard to not eat another one. I guess. I've never had that before, but yeah, I'm guessing it's like the person here, Atomics, is explaining. Multiplayer.it gave it a 7 out of 10. Spazio Games gave it a 7.4. Now, this is the first mixed review, so anything below a 75 or 7.5 is more of a mixed review here that we're going to go over. Fantasian Neo Dimension is a perfectly fine old school JRPG fit for both veterans and newcomers of the genre. It's just that we expected a little more from Sakaguchi-san, whose masterpieces we grew up with on both Nintendo and Sony machines. So maybe they didn't find the combat as engaging or thrilling, along with the storyline, which some of the other reviews that even liked it said, hey, storyline's a little bit more basic. So I can probably understand where they're coming from there. Nintendo Life gave it a 7 out of 10, saying Fantasian Neo Dimension is Hironobu Sakaguchi and Mistwalker at their boldest, bravest, and accumulating in a JRPG love letter that both delights and frustrates. The stunning world and exploration are a true highlight, and the challenging and rewarding combat will enchant some, but it lacks some of the magic that the game is aiming for, and the pacing is uneven. Normal difficulty makes things more accessible for the curious, but make no mistake, this is an RPG for those who want to lose themselves in the mechanics. And yeah, that's definitely where I'm going to be going with this one. I want to be able to be challenged so I can see the different combat mechanics and be stressed and pressured to try to find different ways to battle through. To me, JRPGs are at their best or most fun when not only when there's a story there that's accompanied and really cool and there's characters, but also when the combat mechanics challenge you to use its depth, to use exactly what it has to offer, to where you can find more enjoyment in the overall package. So that's kind of how I see it. So definitely going to be playing it myself, but I want to go to the worst score here so far, at least for the Nintendo Switch version, and that is from Shack News. They gave it a 6 out of 10, saying this: taking time to farm elemental resistant accessories, equipment upgrades, and stronger skills, setting up your party loadout just so at a save point, then watching your team get ragdolled away, all while you're several levels above what the game says you need, completely overshadows the effort put into the careful puzzle-like design of each boss, which is a shame, because if those fights weren't so egregiously overtuned in such an unproductive way, the stuff actually holding up Fantasian systems would have really shined. The criticism from before clearly had an impact, but even with the adjustments, there's still moments where the game isn't fun at all to engage with on its given terms. Even everything else, from Uematsu's thematically apt soundtrack to the super neat diorama visuals, is hard to enjoy when your brain is bogged down by the constant dread. Fantasian Neo Dimension has a very distinct vibe and a lot of cool ideas, but overcommits to the idea of challenge such that it buries its own nuances under a pile of big numbers. So this review, even though it's not a great review, 6 out of 10, is awesome because the person is admitting that they're trash at the game. They don't understand the full mechanics in order to get through, because he says even if you're way over the level and you get ragdolled, so that means his strategy is not good, because it's not like it's going to be like the Dark Souls of something right here. So I actually like this, and I understand where he's coming from. Like a 6 out of 10 if you're having problems and that can dampen your experience, that's completely cool. I have no problem with that. But to me, this ensures that I want to double down and play this, because you can't just grind, level up, and then be above that and say, okay, I'm just going to go there and overpower them. You still have to have strategy. You still have to look through and know what you're doing. Simply just grinding and being a bigger power level and thinking you're just going to manhandle everything is not the way. And I love that about that. This is stuff that I saw in a variety of different games that I've already played this year. Even sometimes SMT, if your strategy is not good, even if you're a higher level, you can still get smacked there and back. So I love this about the game overall. I'm looking forward to getting into that strategy and getting into exactly what makes the game tick with its unique diorama style combat and battles and visuals and everything. So once again, guys, Fantasian Neo Dimension dropping this week, and I am very excited to play. I think these reviews are super positive. Even the ones that were mixed clearly defined, hey, this is what it does really well, this is what I don't like. So I think it's going to be a fun experience. Now, the PlayStation 5 version does have a bit of a higher score, and it's essentially the same exact game, same exact content, but with higher resolution and better frame rate. So there's also that. So if you want to get that version, you definitely can. But I'm looking forward to checking it out on the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. Now, I know that Mistwalker and Square Enix, they don't do this, but man, it would be really nice if they had a cross save in this game. I'm not sure why these companies don't do this. I'm telling you, they can get people to double dip. You have the home console version, you have the big version on the TV with the PS5, then you have the portable version if you want it. When it comes to Nintendo Switch, that I can buy maybe digitally, then physical PS5 or something like that. But either way, it's all good. I think that what makes this game really shine for me is the combat and the difficulty. I think that's going to be the thing that really keeps people hooked when it comes to core JRPG fans. I played a lot of great turn-based JRPGs this year. We've had the incredible Unicorn Overlord at the beginning of the year. We had Persona 3 Reload as well. There was Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth that people really enjoyed, in addition to my favorites of this year, and that's SMT5 Vengeance, which was just an incredible experience. And of course, to me, the top, that would be Metaphor Refantasio as well. So add this to the pile of incredible JRPGs this year, and shows that turn-based combat is not only here, it is here and it is ready to be some of the best reviewed, best playing, and creative games overall. There was a time period when people felt games like this probably weren't going to be around for very long, where people wanted all action and you wanted all explosions and everything needed to be super fast paced when it comes to the combat, and you need to be able to move around and everything, where some people truly felt that turn-based JRPGs can't thrive. But I think that the Nintendo Switch, and of course a lot of developers that have done interesting things overall and have been able to have success, have found a lot of sales and new fans on PlayStation, on PC, and on Nintendo Switch. So this is fantastic overall. I'm so glad that the reviews turned out as good as it did. An 8+ out of 10 is absolutely incredible for this style of game. And it's great to see that a game like this is off the Apple Arcade prison, because imagine if we never got this at all and people couldn't experience what Mr. Hironobu Sakaguchi and his team at Mistwalker have done, even with Nobuo Uematsu, the legend, on the music as well. So everything really just fits in with this year 2024 just being a big RPG year, being a big turn-based JRPG year as well. And I'm very much looking forward to this. And one of the reasons why I delayed doing my top 10 and best 25 lists of 2025, I really wanted to make sure that I played this game first, and I got the opinions in terms of how I feel about this game, and then I can kind of rank it. If it's in my top 10 for Nintendo Switch games, in my top 25 overall, we'll definitely go over that. But it looks like it absolutely could be, based off of some of the stuff that I'm hearing here, especially that last review. I love that so much. Even though it was a 6 out of 10 from Shaq News, it shows that, yeah, like if you're not competent, if you don't know what you're doing, you can't just level up and try to just mash the buttons and you're just gonna bop everybody over the head. You better have your strategy set. You better know what you're doing overall, or you're gonna get cooked, you know, unless you're way over leveled, I guess, over it. But yeah, very good to see this. Very excited to get into Fantasian Neo Dimension, and I love all the new tweaks and things that they brought over to the game. Looking forward to playing it myself. So what do you guys think overall when it comes to Fantasian Neo Dimension? What do you guys think about Mistwalker, Hironobu Sakaguchi, and what you've seen from the game? let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.